Hi, my beautiful loves. So we're building up to the solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, on Tuesday, the 25th of October, which is in Scorpio. It's the new moon. And in my previous video, as I was saying, I explain a bit more of this eclipse energy that we've been feeling for a month. And what we have as well with the eclipses, we have the sun and Venus conjunct the moon. And so we have that big conjunction, and that is also squaring Pluto. So there's a really big theme playing with this. If we unpack it, the theme I get is really asking us to let go of the old. So a solar eclipse, when it comes in, is about setting in the new. So it's like, what are we wanting to transform and change in our lives? Where are we prepared to let go? And especially in Scorpio, Scorpio is transformation. So it's bringing in that we really need to go into this space. We'll have the Sun and Venus that have just moved into Scorpio. So we have this month energy of the Scorpio season with these eclipses happening in that space. And so the key word is transformation. The key word is letting go of the old. With the square to Pluto, it's that we can't keep doing things the way we've been doing things. Something needs to shift. I mean, we can. We can, of course, stay in the old, but we're being asked to go into the new. We've been asked to think of, what do our new power structures look like? What does our new system look like? Capricorn is about structures. It's about systems. It's the architect of that sort of thing. How do we do power is what the Scorpio energy is asking with that. And it's how do we bring in that balance? So this really is an energy, and it can feel like potentially a lot is collapsing. Potentially it can feel like in our financial system things are collapsing, or there really feels to be this like upheaval, a very much a poverty mindset coming into the consciousness, or still there, but really being heightened. And so really being made to feel that there's scarcity in that. And this is where we have the power to come in and change things. And this is what I feel the eclipse energy is bringing for us, is the thing to really, with the Scorpio, go deep within. Scorpio is fixed, it's water, it's alchemy, but it's deep subconscious, my loves. It's like you go underground and look at all the potentially yucky, scary skeletons in the closet type vibe, not because it is scary, but because when you actually shed light on that, you can see what the situation is and how you can actually embrace and fix the situation. Often when you don't know, how are you able to even find solutions, my love? And this is what it is. It's that bringing your awareness to what is potentially the underlying problem, or what is the dis-ease in this section here. And this is what this energy is coming. It's supported by the fact that the Saturn has gone direct, or is going direct, 23rd, 24th. So you're starting to feel that energy. And Saturn has been in a loose square with Uranus from 2021 all the way through 2022. We had an almost square a few weeks ago. And this is the old versus the new. Uranus is bringing in, we need to do something new. Let's do innovation. It's that higher consciousness that comes through. Saturn is the discipline, the structure, but also a bit of that old energy, but it's time. And so we've been having this friction of old versus new coming through. And this is what's playing out in this space, especially because Saturn is squaring the nodes pretty much through entire eclipse season till about 12th of November. So there's sort of this push-pull feeling, old, new, not sure where, and this eclipse is going to be bringing up a lot of stuff with that, my loves. Not that it's at all like in a, oh my gosh, but it's more in an empowerment phase. I really feel like it's giving us the ability to shift into that mentality of how do we create the new, not just for self, but also for the collective. The finance is quite a big thing, because this is in our world we live in at the moment. This is our energy exchanges through finance and money and currency and all of that. And something needs to shift in that system. Something needs to change, and it's not going to be overnight, but what are we laying down as the new foundations? How are we doing these energy exchanges? How are we uplifting? So we are out of this poverty mindset. And a really big thing that I sort of came for me was, there's an opportunity for us to really identify within self, if we then bring all of this back into self, is like, what are our own subconscious beliefs, and where are we self-sabotaging self? So we have this opportunity to go into looking into that, especially with Venus and the Sun there, is it's about self. It's about our inherent worthiness. Where do we not feel worthy? In which areas don't we feel worthy? And how can we heal this? What steps can we take? Not that this needs to be an overnight transformation, but just bringing it to the awareness and then allowing yourself to ask the universe, how can you help me be resourced in order to solve this? How can we co-create this together? And this is what is really coming through for me. And a really big thing, my loves, what I would really say is paying attention to the words that we're using. Often we're in conversations with others, or the way we speak about something, and it can be really simple where you go, the situation is like this, but this is the problem, or it's always been like that, or it's just like that, so we're reinfusing that frequency of, I want to say, victim consciousness without even realizing it, is that acceptance of it. And those words we're using are imprinting on selves, but also that frequency that we're putting out into the world. And so taking that step back and observing your words, and even if a situation is not great, it's not about this over hyper positivity at all. No, what it is having a realism of looking at the situation and then changing that you wish to be more solution orientated. It's a more empowered space of asking, what can we co-create on this? How can we solve this together? What is a new solution? And when you start framing things from the perspective of, well, we can look at this differently, we can heal this differently, this is when different information streams through to you. This is where different pieces from the universe gets moved around for you. And I firmly believe that. And when you open yourself up and not trying to figure out how it's going to be fixed, it's more that we allow the co-creation together, is that if we're prepared to take those steps forward and we're prepared to ask for guidance and work with each other, that community feel of having people as soundboards, trying to find a solution together, there's no ways that they won't be. Might not be how you would potentially have solved it or how you think it should be done, but if it comes from a place of true consciousness in the heart space, then it will be good for everyone else. It's that higher level. And eclipses bring in new light codes, my love. And when you have these new light codes coming in, we're being asked to level up. We're being asked to co-create this new frequency. And this is more of a heart-centered space. And so we need to shift out and move into that co-creating space. So it's taking the ownership of looking at your own, and we all have them. And there's always some area and space that we have a wound, and it's not from a, oh, I have to fix myself. It's like, oh my gosh, I have an opportunity to explore this part of self. I have an opportunity to learn and grow from this. I have an opportunity to alchemize this into my greatest gift. And that's what it is that soul journey of the more you come home to self, the more you can express and vibrate that out. And that uplifts, we all just constantly uplifting the frequency. And so I'd really impart that sort of thing. This eclipse season is pay attention to the words you're using and what are you imprinting into the world, but also on your subconscious the whole time. What are you saying to your subconscious without even realizing it? We all have these different ways of wording something, and so really bringing that awareness into that, and then delving deeper when you have that and be like, well, why do I word it this way? Why do I think of it this way? And when you start asking those questions is when you can start uncovering the limiting beliefs. And then you can put, how can we heal this together? How can I heal this? Put it out there to the universe. I mean, I'm open to receiving guidance. I'm opening to receiving the wisdom that I know is within me, and that I can take the steps aligned with what works for me. What I also want to say, my loves, is while we're moving in this forward of this new beginning and this creation, which is really beautiful, and we're in this space, is that Mars is going to go retrograde. So we are in that shadow period, which I think is a really beautiful space. And I've said it before, because with Mars going into the retrograde, it's really meaning that we're going to go into this feminine space and allowing us to create this from the feminine yin, which is just as powerful as the masculine energy. But it's really allowing, for me, there's instead of a should, this is how it should be, and this drive, is there's a pause and being, well, how can it be together? And so really removing the boxes of shoulds in order to allow for it to just unfold in the most miraculous way, for something to be born that we could never even truly conceive. And that's what I feel this beautiful Mars retrograde is going to give us. It's going to feel a bit odd because we're not going to have that energy and that drive, but it's more because we're nurturing these seedlings as opposed to, we'll plant you now and you better grow straight away. It's this yin of we can plant the seeds, we can plant within ourselves. After clearing out the soil and everything like that, we can plant these beautiful seeds and give it time to germinate. We can nurture the soil, we can feed the soil, we can feed all of that. And this is what I feel is like the difference of how we can really imprint this energy, but also lift this energy up into the consciousness. What I do want to say is that in this period, this eclipse season, especially called Scorpio season, Scorpio season's normally quite intense just because of what Scorpio brings and intensity. Eclipses are going to heighten it, my loves. And so it's having that awareness. It's having an awareness that everyone is feeling this in different ways. We all get impacted differently in our charts. And from that space of just awareness, also having deep compassion, like how can we go in and not be in a space of, well, you know, we're just going to go back to the old. It's going to be like, okay, we're in this birthing of the new together, and how can we hold and help each other through the birthing of this? Really stepping into the beautiful compassion of your heart space. And remembering, my loves, that you need to have compassion for self, deep compassion for self, and taking time for the self-care. Remembering, we're moving away from that Piscean of energy of that we need to martyr ourselves in order for the collective. No, it's that you need to take care of this body, take care of your soul. And once you're taken care of and your cup's full, then you're able to give more and hold space for more. But it's really not about depleting yourselves, my love. And this is also the shift and transformation, is honoring that your self-care and your knowingness of self is so important in order for you to shift and create that. So in this intense time, if you need to just cocoon in self and you need to just be in the space, then allow yourself that gift, that it becomes a norm for your body, not just, oh, I'm just going to create the space. It becomes how your lifestyle is of looking after self first and healing those things in order to hold the space. So really practice self-compassion, self-love the space, and just be very gentle and nurturing. If something does flare up or it's quite unexpected in that, really allow yourselves to feel Scorpio emotions, feeling, but also connect in with nature, spend time grounding, and don't feel like you need to make all these decisions right now. Like, this is also, this energy sets the tone for the next 6 months, and there's plenty of opportunities for us to review things. So my parting words with this would be, see what bubbles up, feel what needs to do and wants to come out and being birthed as a new, but also recognize you don't have to rush into it. You can allow time to settle. You can allow your nervous system to regulate before taking that action. You can allow yourself to ask the questions from the universe of how, and allow that divine wisdom to flow through, but really be gentle and kind with self and practice that gentle kindness with others too. And hold the other one if they're feeling like this is really rough. This might also be like the most magical time ever. So it's not necessarily that it will be hectic or negative or anything. It's nothing to be feared, but it's just having that presence, gentleness, and awareness. Sending you so much love, my beautiful souls, and lots of gentleness and compassion. Bye, my loves.